Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome to this channel, and it gives me great joy that you are able to view this video. I am Dr. Olayinka Akanle. I am a sociologist. I'm a researcher. I'm a scholar. I'm an academic. I'm a lecturer in the university. So on this channel, I do a number of stuffs, but all these stuffs, you can easily cluster them into one: sociology, research, relationship, migration, project management, and achievement of life goals. So once again, you're welcome out to this channel. So if it's your first time of coming in contact with contents on this channel, thank you very much. Kindly subscribe to the channel for wonderful content. Kindly tap your notification button just for you to be able to receive updates every time I drop new contents. Kindly like, comment, and share this content and other ones on this channel widely. If you are a return viewer, that means this is not the first time on this channel, but you have not subscribed. Kindly subscribe to this channel. Comment, like, and share. And if you have subscribed before now, thank you for your subscription if you have subscribed earlier. And kindly comment, like, and share. So today I'll be talking particularly on the very important subdiscipline of sociology. What is that? Urban sociology. That's why I've deliberately titled this video, "What is urban sociology and what is the relevance of urban sociology?" Urban sociology is one of the very important subdisciplines of sociology. That is very central to the discipline, and you can specialize in this area later on your master's or even PhD. And even at the undergraduate level, is a course you are expected to take so that you can understand the nitty-gritty of this. So what particularly is urban sociology? Urban sociology is a subdiscipline of sociology that is interested in understanding urban societies or cities. Urban sociology wants to essentially understand the city life, urban centers, the cultures, the processes. And this is very important within the context of urbanization, rapid urbanization across the world. Usually, especially in many underdeveloped countries, what we know is essentially that they are usually agrarian. But given current realities, more countries or more societies are becoming urbanized. Even in societies where we used to have 70% of the population in rural areas, now such societies we now have about 50-50. 50 in the urban, 50 in the rural, because of so many issues, including rapid urbanization, rural-urban migration. And for different reasons, we have societies where you have huge urbanization processes. So the future of postmodern society is essentially most likely to be urban. That's why we're not talking about mega city, smart cities, resilient cities. So it's very important for us to pay more attention to urban processes, urban social relationships. These are what our urban sociology is interested in. We want to understand the pattern, the processes, the nature of urban life. We want to understand the dynamics of urban society. So urban sociology is essentially interested in urban social relations, social organizations of the urban people, because the ways and manners urbanites, people who live in urban centers, relate and organize themselves, and the kind of problems they face. This nature, pattern, processes, nature of urban processes and relationships are essentially different, unique compared to rural societies. And because the projection is that the world will become increasingly urban, given the aggravation of urbanization and urban changes. then it's better for us to then understand what are the drivers, what are the natures, and what are the processes, what are the structures and organizations of this urban society, especially within the context of the problem they face. You must bear in mind that sociology wants to understand the human relationship, human system, so that we can solve problems. Essentially, we are problem solvers. We are social engineers. So urban sociology is that area of sociology, specialization of sociology, that tries to understand urban social relations, urban people in unique ways. However, you must know that urban sociology also essentially deploys the concepts, the methodology, the theories, the strategies, the techniques of sociology in an attempt to study urban sociology. So even when urban sociology is interested in understanding urban systems, urban people, urban culture, urban relationships, it's not going to do it with different instruments or strategies. Urban sociology ultimately adopts concepts, methodologies, theories, and strategies of modern sociology. We just adopt these concepts, these theories, methodologies, and concepts most of the time of modern sociology or sociology as a general in this urban sociology. So this is very important for us to know. So some call it study of cities, city studies. But urban sociology is what we prefer to use most of the time because it gives us essentially the sociology of the urban people. So it's very important to look at it. So urban sociology is not a different discipline from sociology. It's just a subfield, sub-discipline of sociology. So urban sociology can be best understood within the context of urbanization, aggressive modernization. And that's why we, especially as we are now having mega cities, you are having resilient cities, smart cities, and with the aggravation of urban processes and urbanization, to the extent that in many parts of the world are increasingly urbanized, even those societies that you may think are essentially rural. So urban sociology attempts to understand urban problems, and now we can provide solutions to them. We want to understand urbanism as a way of life. And most of the things we'll be talking about in urban sociology is talking about urban social relations. How do you think urban people relate different from other societies? And you want to ask, what are urban societies? What makes a society to be qualified as urban? There are many indicators of this before you can describe a place as urban compared to rural. So there are many indicators that we use in sociology to classify societies as urban. Number one, usually, is the population of such societies. You know, different countries of the world have different population benchmark or threshold, depending on the level of development of that society. Some countries use population to say maybe, depending on the level of development, 5,000, 25,000, or 100,000, or 250,000, or into millions, depending. So population, so it varies from countries to countries. So population benchmark is one of the benchmarks or factors that we use in urban sociology to describe a society as urban. Another one is the level of infrastructural development or infrastructural sophistication. You know, you expect that you will have more advanced infrastructure, technological innovations to power urban centers. So when you have places where you have a lot of advanced infrastructure, especially in poor countries, it may not be so easy to say, okay, infrastructure in places like United States or Australia or United Kingdom or European Union or even Canada or even when you like Switzerland, you know, it may be difficult for you to use infrastructural parameter in defining urban, because these societies, whether rural or urban, are essentially advanced. But you can still argue that the kind of infrastructural advancement that you have in New York City or DC in the United States or London cannot be compared to some other places in the same United States or UK or some other places. So you can still use infrastructural parameters to judge. And it's even more evident in poor continents like Africa or Asia, in the sense that it's very easy for you to see cities as being essentially more modernized or more advanced in infrastructure compared to rural areas in poor countries. So it's more straightforward. Then you can also talk about the social relations, which is of central concern and interest to sociologists. What you have in urban center is transient human relationship, rationality as the hallmark of the relationship, secularization, division of labor, high level of industrialization, transient, impersonal, and formal relationships are more evident in urban centers compared to rural areas where you still have high level of traditionality, where you still have more permanent human relations, or where you still have everybody knowing everybody. This is not the same in urban centers. Urban centers, the relationship is more temporary, it's more transient. People don't rely on tradition mostly in urban centers. They rely on rationality or postmodernism in urban centers. Rationality, fast way of life. And these are things that we are more interested in urban sociology. How do people relate? How do they pattern their relationship? More reliance on social networks in urban centers compared to more reliance on kinship networks in rural areas. We are not saying there are no kinship networks in terms of relationship in urban centers. We are just saying that you may have kinship networks and social networks, but social networks become more profound because people then work beyond the kinship systems, unlike in the rural areas. So, and you have the issue of economy of urban centers being largely industrialized compared to rural areas where you have more of agriculture or agrarian society. You have more of industrialization or industrial activities in urban centers compared to rural areas. And everything is secular, even in religion, in a lot of other components of urban centers. So the social structures of urban centers are usually also very dynamic and very organic. And you have the social institutions of these urban centers as being very dynamic, very organic. When you talk about social institutions, we are talking about the family, the economy, the religion, the education, and even the political system. These are the traditional social institutions. But even in urban centers, we don't have these social institutions being so static. And most of the roles of these social institutions have been taken over by some other new social institutions. Talk about the social media as a new social institution. Talk about the medical or the health institution. Talk about the peer group as new institution. These are new additions to social institutions beyond the 5 traditional institutions I mentioned earlier. We now have social media or the new media. We have the health system or the health institution, and we also have peer group. And so most of the roles that families used to play, for example, or even educational institutions, have been taken over by social media. For example, socialization processes, or even even when you look at the education, people now go online and take courses, short courses, and build capacity, on many platforms. So the traditional institutions are beginning to gradually lose their roles to new media, and you will find this more aggravated in the urban centers. And this is very important for us to know, that social institutions in these places are more dynamic, are more organic, are more evolving. And we want to see all this evolution and all these dynamics. We also want to understand social change and how this affects people of urban centers in a very unique way. I want to talk about the role of globalization, post-modernity, and the urban life. You find this more prominent in urban centers. And why are we so interested in all of these components that I've been mentioning? We are interested in them because they have consequences for social order of these urban centers or the kind of problems they are exposed to in these urban centers. So when we understand all these issues I've been mentioning, it then becomes very possible for us to understand the problems urban people are exposed to and how we can solve these problems. Don't forget, sociology, we are interested in using critical thinking, critical analysis, and logic and originality and unique theories and methodologies in an attempt to understand social processes, social problems, and come up with solutions. So when we talk about urban sociology, we are particularly very interested in understand urban situation, urban way of life in unique ways, so that we are able to provide solution into all of this situation. So, and as these problems continue to evolve, so urban sociology is also innovate new concepts, new theories, new methodologies through strong following of sociology as a modern discipline, and we attempt to harvest methodology and concepts and theory from sociology in an attempt to understand urban society. And I do sincerely believe that urban sociology is more relevant now than ever, as we have increased rural-urban migration, increased pressure on urban societies to the extent that new problems are emergent. That's why we move from understanding cities or urban centers to conceptualizing and struggling to understand megacities. Across the world now, there are many megacities, including New York. And these megacities have their own unique problems. And we expect that these problems, depending on how well managed they are, they can lead to greater problem for mankind. And as UN Habitat has continually raised the alarm that the world is increasingly urbanized, and we need to pay close attention so that we don't have crises and disasters on our hands. You see, now urban sociologists are more needed in an attempt to specially and professionally understand these cities. That's why we're not talking about the issue of megacity. We expect that depending on how cities are understood and studied to be able to provide solutions, cities may have to be resilient. Cities that are not able to better manage themselves or govern themselves will definitely become cities of slums. I did a research with one of my students in the past that we talk about mega city, mega slum. Because if cities are not well understood, are not well planned, and they continue to grow in population and pressure, what they have is slums ultimately, which is not good for anybody. So we expect that cities should be well understood, well planned, well governed, to the extent that they become mega, not mega nuisance, but become resilient to be able to absorb shock. Because when you have so many people moving towards cities, living in cities, and those cities are not well managed, they are not well governed, then they're going to become disasters waiting to happen or going somewhere to happen. And if you have shocks in those cities or that are not resilient, it could be catastrophic for mankind. And this can happen anywhere. It doesn't matter which country you have. So that's how we expect that cities will then become resilient to be able to absorb shocks and to be able to plan forward, to accommodate new pressures and still continue to move. And we also believe that cities should not only be cities, cities should also be resilient, beyond resilience, smart, in the sense that they become predictable, they become well managed, well governed, they become driven by technology and strong social relations that will be able to accommodate all the shocks that may be on the way. And you know, there's so many problems in cities today. You have the issue of crime, destitution or homelessness, unemployment, overstressed infrastructure, a lot of discriminations and inequalities, widened inequalities, urban poverty, gender-based violence, and family disorganization and breakdown, modern slavery. I did a video on modern slavery. You can also watch that, on modern slavery, on awesome work environment. You know, a lot of problems that we have on sustainable development of city, threatening not only today's generation, but future generation. The problems of urban centers, as they continue to grow, the problems are so massive. So urban sociologists are very much needed to study, understand, and provide solutions to existing problems and those ones that are waiting to happen. Wouldn't you rather agree with me that urban sociology is very relevant. So welcome to Urban Sociology, and I do sincerely, I'm convinced and persuaded that you will enjoy urban sociology. There are many opportunities there that you can take advantage of. Thank you very much for listening, and I do sincerely wish to appeal to you once again. Subscribe to this channel, share this content as widely as possible, comment, like, and make sure your notification button is clicked, so that, because I have more contents on the way, I have some topics in sociology and even research on the way. So make sure you continue to subscribe and watch, stay tuned to this channel. I'm Olayinka Kwale once again. Until I see you in my next video, thank you very much.